This is WMU Presents, a look at people, places, and events in West Michigan from Western Michigan University. Hello, I'm Mike Matthews. In this edition, we'll visit with Gwen Frostic, the artist-entrepreneur who has made a life and a career of art and nature here in Benzie County, Michigan. Gwen Frostic Prints, here in Benzonia, Michigan, about 60 miles southwest of Traverse City, is the headquarters for a bustling retail and mail-order business whose customers number in the tens of thousands from all over the world. As many as 1,200 a day flock to this charming refuge of art and nature that has been doing business at this same location for the past 20 years. At its center is Gwen Frostic herself, an energetic 74-year-old matriarch who runs this million-dollar enterprise from her desk with a view of nature. She maintains an active speaking schedule around the state. The heart of Gwen Frostic's business is art, a combination that, for her, is as natural as all outdoors. You've managed to combine art and poetry and beauty with business. Is that a natural combination?
I don't think they were put together. I don't think they were ever separated. I think it becomes one. If you are alert enough and have enough knowledge on many subjects, I don't think that a person in art should limit themselves to art. I love business. I love it just as much as I love doing artwork. And it's just as much a part of me as the artwork. And that's, I can't see that it's separated. And I have never done anything for the sake. I never drawn anything or written a book for the sake of making money. But because I wrote it, I made money.
You've said that creativity is very important. What is creativity and what is the source for your own creativity?
It's part of you. It begins with knowledge. You will never get an idea on something you know nothing about. I don't care how long you look at the beautiful woods or anything else. Ideas only come from knowledge. Then the second thing is to think clearly. Do your own thinking and deep thinking, not just like thinking or read something and say that's the way I think. Read something and let it seep in and become you. Third thing is dreams. But by dreams, I do not mean dream of becoming a great writer or a great artist, but dream of doing something each day. And then let each day be a stepping stone for the next dream. And that is the way you will progress. Of course, the fourth thing is work. You know what that is, so I don't need to explain that.
Speaking to an audience of women in Three Rivers, Michigan, Gwen described the purpose of her enterprise this way.
We make napkins and books and no papers, but this is not our aim. Our aim is to bring you the wind in the trees and the very first violet of spring. Our aim is to bring you a bit of serenity that exists in this world. Serenity that we must not forget. In spite of the headlines in the paper, in spite of the news broadcasts or the debates, there is serenity, and we must always keep in touch with a bit of that serenity. So we hope that maybe one of our books or no papers will help you keep your island of serenity where you can go and find yourself again. Because without that, you can never be a complete person.
To be that complete person, says Gwen, one must have eyes that see, and she tells this story.
We have 285 acres here, and I was coming up from the river down there, and I met this man with his youngsters, and he didn't know who I was, which is perfectly all right. I'm always happy that. And he said to me, is there anything farther on? And I said, well, have you seen anything yet? Because if you haven't seen anything yet, there's nothing farther on. And that's true no matter what it is. You have to see in order to become. You have to have knowledge in order to see.
And what Gwen Frostic has become is perhaps best expressed by the structure that houses Gwen Frostic prints and her own apartment. I asked her how that came about.
Naturally, of course, because I did it. Yeah, that's all there was to it. If we wanted something, I would say, well, when we started the building, we did not have any basic plans. We went out and put 4 stakes in the ground and came back the next day and decided we ought to move them a little bit one way or the other. And then we started. And I basically knew that I wanted the area so that the people could watch the work being done. Because one thing people love to do on vacation is watch somebody else work. So that was basic. So the ground level is where the workshop is. Then I knew I didn't want people to come up the stairs to have to come into the building. So we had a big fill job in the parking lot to bring it up to the level of the balcony so that they didn't have to walk stairs to come in.
And then I remember reading about how the stones were arranged with the workers.
Well, the stones, I got a couple of local people, and if you work with them, you could get things done. But howsoever, lead men had made fireplaces in many places with the cut stones, you know how you fit them, cut them and fit them. And I said, Jack, I don't want you to do that. All I want you to do is to pile the stones up, make them look comfortable, and then put some cement around them. So they had 2 stones up. They came all the way to Frankfurt, where I was living at the time, and had me come out and look, see whether that was what I want, with 2 stones. I said, go ahead, just be free. Put them up. And so they did. Then they loved it, because it gave them freedom, too.
Express.
It gave them a chance to express. And I told them not to look for any special stone. Don't take one stone and try to make it prominent, because you think it's beautiful, because every stone is beautiful. And then we went down, we had to have water, of course, to make the cement. So we hit a flowing well. So, of course, the fountain was a natural thing that comes into the building. It was not planned. It was just because we hit a flowing well and let's use it.
Gwen explained why few rooms in her upstairs apartment have walls.
Well, it's a result of my basic desire to be free. I didn't want rooms to box me in. So we just put up divisions. Division for the kitchen, division for the bedroom, but it doesn't cut up rooms. And of course I wanted to bring the outdoors in as much as I could, because every season of the year there is beauty outdoors. And one other interesting thing that I don't think you're aware of, looking at it from the front, you are not aware that any apartment is up here. That was planned.
for some privacy.
For privacy.
And freedom.
And freedom. That's right.
What's the relation between creativity and freedom?
They're the same, one and the same. If you are creative, you are free. You are not free unless you are creative.
Gwen's father was superintendent of schools in her native Wyandotte, Michigan, and her mother worked in public relations. Both were writers. Gwen, whose education includes a teaching certificate, did graduate study in art at Western Michigan University in 1928. Since then, she's maintained a relationship with Western. She received both a Distinguished Alumni Award and an honorary degree from Western, as well as being made an honorary Distinguished Professor of Entrepreneurship by the WMU College of Business. She has been a member of the WMU Foundation Board and is a member of the President's Club of Major Donors to Western. She was asked why she has given to Western.
I give for personal satisfaction because I enjoy doing it. Not because I think you need it or because I think the university will be a better place or anything like that.
Gwen Frostic prints and press craft papers with 38 employees, including Gwen's nephew, Bill Frostic, is Benzie County's largest employer. The business grew from merely printing when Gwen published a book she had written, especially for the Michigan Federation of Business and Professional Women. The book was My Michigan, the year 1957. She had worked also as a tool designer for the Ford Motor Company and later in Ford's advertising department. Now her 16 Heidelberg printing presses produce everything from delicately illustrated notepaper to bound volumes of her poetry, also accompanied by images that she alone creates from linoleum blocks. Her one constant companion is her dog, Emerson, who often follows her on rounds through the shop. During the summer, when tourist traffic swells, Gwen's regular crew is augmented by more than a dozen of Gwen's girls, college students who find summer employment and the joy of nature under one roof. When they're not working, they can peruse one of the most complete nature libraries in Michigan. Gwen's mailing list contains more than 170,000 names in more than 70 countries. Yet none of this success has made Gwen Frostic any less the philosopher and artist that she is at heart.
I think that all of us should have a tree that we could look up to, a tree that can give you inspiration in time of need. Pick out your own tree and relate to it. And every time you need a source of inspiration, it will be there for you to look at. A tree, maybe it's been hit by lightning and it goes on living. And you know that you too can meet the storms of life and go on living because your tree did. A tree that each year, at the end of all the twigs, a new bud will form, that the limbs will grow a little longer, and the tips of the branches will remain forever young. In the same way with you, if each day you reach a little further, each day you learn something new, the tips of your mind will remain forever young, no matter how many years you count on your birthday.